Hello everybody and welcome back to the War of Three Oceans. I am Count Christo and we are the wonderful Empire of Japan, leaders of the greater East Asian co-prosperity sphere and the future masters of the Pacific. So, we need to figure out our next move. Obviously, we've secured we've secured China, just read it off the map like a numpty, and that's fantastic. But we will not be content with what we've got. We have currently a requirement to import from various nations, and our where's my friggin', there it is, my resource map mode, and we are not going to be sufficiently fed with the oil reserves that we have, the meager oil reserves that we currently have. We need to strike at the southern resource area. We need to seize this lot. Now, how do we do that? Well, we have 5 focuses, and we can get war goals on Dutch East Indies and British Malaya and France. Also, by doing... which one is it? Is it this one? Yeah, this gives us the decision to demand Indochina, which requires that France has capitulated. Is France just going historical this game? They haven't even begun going down that stuff. Okay. I don't know when Germany is going to move against France, or if they will. I assume they will, but I think it's going to be much later. So the question becomes, do we wait quite a while before we move against them in the south? Or do we make some earlier moves? Another somewhat, though dare I say it, bold strategy would be to declare war on the communists. The communists obviously have a sizable army, they're on war economy, they're banging out equipment, and they also have a not limitless, but at least very large supply of oil down here in the Caucasus. And what's the name of this region here? Is that still Caucasus? I don't think it is, right? Caucasus is just down here. What's this area? Anyway, they have huge oil production, is the point. So they can use their tanks with reckless abandon, basically. Whereas we need to be extremely stingy. So I'm not sure what we do there. We also need... we have quite a bit of oil going free now, so we're not going to use it for anything. So we should probably exercise the Navy. But, sorry, before we move on to that, we need to do some long-term logistical thinking. So, obviously the US is the main threat. They have this war goal on us, but it looks like they're not going to use it. It's been quite a while now. I'd be very surprised if they suddenly were to use it. They haven't gone down battleship primacy yet, but they might have already done the Two Ocean Navy Act. How many dockyards they have? No, they haven't done Two Ocean Navy Acts. They haven't really kicked their naval production into high gear yet. They haven't even done continue the New Deal or re-establish the gold standard yet. What have you been doing, US? They've just been doing these war plan divisions. I think that might be because we told them to be more interventionist. I don't think they really have realized that doing all of these doesn't actually give them any war goals. All these do is gives them bonuses when they are at war. So I think, yeah, we may have kind of screwed over the US by telling them to be more interventionist, because they're just filling out this part of the focus tree, which is kind of useless to them, because it's not actually going to get them to war and thereby help them mobilize their economy. They're still in undisturbed isolation. You know, they only have 10 military factories. So maybe a strike at the US is the right call. I mean, I realize I sound a lot like Japan, but a lightning strike against the US before they can mobilize, when they still have very small number of troops, if we can strike at them and secure key naval bases, not just destroy their navy while it's in port, but actually seize these Pacific islands, we could prevent them from really operating their navy in this area. We'd need to also strike at, obviously, some places further north, like Attu Island and things like that. But if we could do a big strike, I think we'd be, excuse me, sorry, in pretty good shape. Let me think. The problem is, launching a coordinated strike against all these places would essentially require better naval invasion tech. If we wanted to actually simultaneously try and seize all of these places from them, we would need Where even is naval invasion tech anymore? Is it naval doctrine? No. Is it under infantry? I've completely forgotten where naval invasion technology lives. Here it is. Okay. Yeah, so we could get landing craft, which would let us... I mean, with 50 troops, we could probably simultaneously invade most of the Pacific American holdings. I think... I think that's what we'll do. What is invasion defense? Reduces naval invasion penalties. It's a strange name for that. So I think that's what we'll do. Going down here, develop financial resources just gives aluminium. Yeah, I don't know what the other prospect for resources decisions are. But this gives us landing craft. 100% research bonus. So we could do the landing craft research ahead of time, and it wouldn't be too painful if we did it that way. So I think that's what we'll do. We'll move towards... I don't think we're going to do anything in Manchuria, really. Unless it looks like the Soviets are going to go against us, in which case I'll probably fortify the border. Do we need these? I mean, the base strike doctrine would be nice, as would the first air fleet. And getting down here so we don't have duplicate research efforts would also be good. But... torpedo cruiser. Technology torpedo cruiser. I guess that allows us to put torpedoes on cruisers, which would be quite helpful. Can you already do that? I don't know what that does. I'm tempted to get it just to find out. But we should, yeah, we should get down towards bypass the Philippines so we get that, well, no, actually, I'm being silly. In order to go toward the US, we have to secure the Philippines. We could always just justify on the United States, which would not take that long. So maybe that's what we do. Obviously, that would give them plenty of warning, but the focus gives them lots of warning too. Actually, we could bypass the Philippines, declare war on the British and the Dutch, just the British, and then see if just the Dutch, and then see if the British join them. If the British do join with the Dutch, then we will be able to justify in the United States in 25 days. So what we do is we declare war on the British, launch extensive strikes against the East Indies down here, and the British have some islands out here as well. So we'd have to seize these. Is this the Marshall Islands? These the Gilbert Islands. Where are the Marshall Islands? Are they down here? I don't know. I don't know which of these is which. Yeah, so we'd launch strikes against all of that, and maybe Australia as well. We could seize at least Papa and some of this area. And isn't there a bunch of chromium down here? Yeah, in the French area. The French may join the Allies. They're actually not in the Allies yet, but they may well join the Allies before we do that. In which case we do a land invasion of Vietnam. But yeah, I don't know. I feel kind of... I mean, obviously the British are scary. They have a huge navy. But it's not all going to be over here. It's not all going to be well organized. You know, they're going to be wanting to keep some at home. So I think maybe an earlier strike against the UK is warranted. If we could get control over this area, I'm confident that we could keep control over this area. It's just whether we can land. So let's start organizing our navy with the anticipation of an imminent war against the British. And by imminent, it will be 1, 2, 140, 210, you know, 360 odd days. But still, let's start putting our strike forces in position. And we must be careful with our strike forces as well, because we don't want to lose these prides. So where is our nearest naval base? Down here. We have a decent one here, and a very good one in Taiwan. So I guess that's where we'll be basing our strike forces that will be operating in this region out of. Once we capture Saigon, I think that's a good base. Yeah. So maybe we begin with a rapid strike through here, followed by naval invasions from Taiwan. Sorry, from Saigon. We want to do short-range naval strikes, so it's possible we'll launch the actual troops from here after blitzing through here. Where's my precious Siam decision? Does that still exist? There it is. Alliance with Siam. I would kind of like to ally with Siam. I mean, they don't have much. We could just annex them instead. Seize their rubber reserves for ourselves. We'll see. Either way, okay, so we've got 2 navies operating in this region. What I think we should do is have one... Let's just get rid of all these training incidents. We'll have one operating against Malaya. We'll probably want to do a 2-stage invasion of this region. One into Borneo. This is Borneo, isn't it? Yeah, Borneo or Brunei, whatever the... This is Brunei in modern day, right? And one aimed against Malaya, just to knock out all the British bases in the region really early, and also to secure this glorious resources of Singapore. And then the second fleet... I think we'll just hold the second fleet in reserve, essentially. Or maybe we'll have a different strike force operating here and... Yeah, I think I'm going to avoid operating in the Straits of Malacca to begin with. We'll just try and mine the Straits of Malacca while operating our navies in the South China Sea and the Gulf of Thailand. Yeah, so we'll have one operating out of Taiwan. So the prime... And I'm going to name these as well. So this is going to be the strongest one. This is the primary... That's not how you spell primary. Let's just call them Prime Strike Force. And we're going to take the time to name and organize and things just because I think it's quite fun. And B, you know, we need this to go well. And it's easier to organize when they're organized. So they're going to base out of here. And they are going to strike force the South China Sea. And that'll be the initial wave. The first invasions will be launched at Borneo. The risk behind this is that it gives the US warning. Once I start doing this, I have to imagine it's going to be trivial for them to start going down, you know, mobilizing their economy and all that stuff. Which means we're not, you know, taking out Hawaii in the first flush. But that's okay. A protracted war in the Pacific, while dangerous, does at least promise fun. Okay, so, yes. Strike Force 1 is going to be based out of Taiwan and responsible for holding the South China Sea. And we will launch simultaneous naval invasions against a spectrum of targets in Vietnam if France joins. And if not, then just an overwhelming force invasion of North Borneo. That will give us... Obviously, we'll then immediately strike at the Dutch East Indies in the region. We'll then... If the French don't join, it's a bit... This seems like a very long range distance to do an invasion support. But if we have enough fuel saved up, we don't need to have a strike force ready to defend our invaders. We can do full-on invasion support with the whole big fleet going along with them. That seems fine. That seems like that would work. So let's have the main strike force there. And then just in reserve, if needed, we'll have the secondary beta task force. Can be in position here in Guangzhou. Guangzhou? Yeah, Guangzhou, that looks right. Now, the submarines. If we base them out of here again, they can't range very far. But I think what we'll want them doing is endeavoring to convoy raid. Do we dare put them in Malacca? I think we do. I don't think they don't have radar here, do they? No, they don't. So we'll have the submarines convoy raid here, here, and where do you think? Maybe just those two? Where else are the British supply lines going to be to these areas? It's just going to be there and there, isn't it? So we have that kind of convoy raiding in those regions, yeah, not here. Just try and raid there as much as possible to reduce any incoming troops and to lower the supply for the existing troops. That seems good. Okay, obviously for now we don't actually want them to do that. This is just planning. Why can't I remove these orders? What is it? What is it? It's ship. Excuse me. Oh, I only have one of them selected. Right. All you guys. None of that. Just go to Guangzhou. Okay, and we might want to improve the naval base here. But the thing is, as soon as we take Singapore, that's going to be a fantastic naval base for us to use to then raid the whole of the Chinese Sea, which is going to be great. We're going to totally throttle any attempt to reinforce Australia or any imports that they have from any remaining areas of this that are yet to be under our control. So that's what you are going to do, and you are the sub-fleet. And then I'll just name these as well. Sub 1. Are we building more subs? I don't remember. I'll look into it. This is the first episode of a new recording session, by the way, in case that wasn't clear from my sudden change of attitude and course. We are currently building... yes, some subs, the 36 Raiders. And these guys are just being retrofitted, the new scouts. Right. Now, in terms of scouting forces, you are... we should name these fleets as well. This is the first fleet. And which makes you First Fleet Scout 1. So, FFS 1. You are First Fleet Scout 2. Cool. You are the Second Fleet. You are Second Fleet Scout 1. You are Second Fleet Scout 2. Good. They should all be based out of Guangzhou. So we'll send them all there, and you guys should all be based out of here. So we'll send them all there. Now, miners, we have very few of. Oh, it's a cruiser, my miner fleet. Really? Ah, yes, because we haven't actually built any of the proper miners yet. Do we want to have lots of mining ships? I mean, they just seem fun. It seems it would be a shame not to use lots of mining ships, to me. We're so spread thin on our naval dockyards. I think I will prioritize production heavily towards producing dockyards now, rather than more troops. Because if we can secure, you know, without having too many troops, we can secure Australia, the Dutch East Indies, all of the Pacific. And then if we need to build bigger and better armies at that point, we can. We'd be if our navy is unquestioned, we're untouchable, right? They can attack us through the Raj, but come on. I mean, look at this terrain. We can hold on the Borneo front with, sorry, the Brunei front with no good lord, the Burma front with no problem with bad troops. So we're not going to produce any more military factories, not for a while. We're just going to produce a lot of dockyards. That is my intention. Where are we currently building it? In the north. Okay, and then we're going to knock down a lot of dockyards in this region. That's my intention. Okay. So the miners, such as they are, will be based out of here, and will do their best to throw down mines in the Straits of Malacca, just to impede any big British fleets moving into the region. What are you? You're the actual reserve fleet. Why are you not in the actual reserve fleet? As far as I can tell, reserve fleets are bugged. No one I know of has managed to make them work. That could be a bug in the press build, or it could be it could be a current problem. I don't know. It could just be that we're missing how it works. I have no idea. We will customize the actual strike forces compositions and things nearer the actual moment. I suspect the prime strike force that's going to escort the main invasion down here is going to consist of essentially the whole fleet, because I really, really, really don't want my naval invasions to fail. We have to hammer home those naval invasions. Speaking of naval invasions, let's start organizing the military itself. I think the way I'm going to do that is by completely redoing it. So this is the Pacific Theater. This is the Southern Resource Area Strike. Glorious. Okay, I'm glad I took a pause after the end of my last recording session, because I wasn't really feeling the campaign, but I am now. I'm feeling very much into this glorious strike for resources. Okay, you guys. I'm just separating out all of the troops that aren't. Why are you guys so experienced? It's crazy. Heavy fighting on the Chinese front, I suppose. Just separating out all of these guys. Oh, God darn it. What a misclick. I guess I'll do it from this screen. I've just separated out all the guys that are from the puppet divisions, so I don't want to use them too much because I don't want them to get any autonomy progress. We should check on how much autonomy progress they actually have so I can know if that's really going to be a concern. 13, is that it? Anyway, how is your autonomy progress, my men? Very low. Okay. We could annex them. It costs a stupendous amount of political power. But they do have, you know, 7 civ factories. I mean, they have 1, but there's 8 factories here. And if he keeps going down his... so he's going obedience. Does he eventually do something that, like, causes him to be annexed by me? That would be nice. No, he gets some more independence down here, unfortunately. He gets cause. So he's going to get some more factories that way. And where's his foreign investor stuff? This just gives him some off-map factories, doesn't it? Yeah. He really should do collaboration with the Japanese, considering he's... collaboration. Considering he's going obedience. Does obedience... has no impact. It might have already lowered his stuff. And you just have a normal focus tree. Yes. That's right. Well, they're so obedient, maybe we can be free to use their troops. I mean, what is the next level? Imperial Associate. They're still basically just subjects. Just not quite as intense a subject with the 100% extra trade and all that kind of stuff. We no longer need to import from Manchukuo, which is good. That will lower his autonomy a bit. We're still importing from the Soviet Union, just to get our fuel ticking up nicely. Anyway, so on the army front, so these weaker guys, I just don't like using templates that my puppets made, just because I won't always know what they are and I can't standardize them. So, what are we going to do with them? Oh, you're still in the Chinese United Front, Xinjiang. Okay, well we can justify and conquer you then, because you can't, no one can join you, because you're in a faction. Interesting. And if we were at war with you in the Chinese United Front, we could then declare war on the Dutch East Indies, and they'd be forced to join the Chinese United Front. But that's a bit too gamey. We won't do that. I will go to war with Xinjiang, because they were on the enemy's side. It's outrageous that they be left independent. It is a corruption of all that is good and holy to allow them to continue to exist. So you guys, my local forces, you are responsible for taking out Xinjiang. You can be part of the home theatre while you're accomplishing that. You can have a field marshal, I suppose, if you insist. Now, the Southern Resource Strike. First off, give me the garrison units, because I think I'm going to have jobs for them. They did good work in the war for China. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think they're what we want to use for our naval invasions. I think what I'm going to use them for is holding the Brunei front. And there's 24 of them. How perfect. You guys are going to be responsible for this front here. And I would love it if we could push to this front line, because it's just so easy to defend. But it's a lot of terrain. It's a big problem. They do only have a very few number of troops in the Raj. But I suspect when we start justifying against them, we'll see some British troops arrive. But if they only have 70 days to arrive, you know, they may not be there in time. So this is, I mean, really, it's not the Southern Resource Area Strike, but it's close enough. So you guys are responsible for Borneo. You are just a standard infantry force. And yeah, so these guys are only 10 wits. But with 24 of them, I'm confident that we can hold this border. If France is also going to be involved, it may be a bit more complicated, but we'll see. I'll also like 2 of you. What's actually here? I need more decryption so I can see what's actually there. 2 of the crack divisions can be responsible for securing Hong Kong. Okay, so that's your job. Now you, good sir. Oh, you still have 1. And some cavalry and things. So we'll have to reorganize the military. There's quite a few more garrison forces here. Alright, I suppose Hong Kong can be a separate army. You know what? Yeah, fine. Let's have a new theatre. This is the, God, let's get it right first time. This is Burma. Thank you. I've got caps lock on. Whoops. This is the Burma front. And it's going to have 2 armies. 4 of them have to come out here. You're responsible for Hong Kong. It should be a stomp because they will immediately get the encircled penalty. And we might need a new field marshal. Might promote someone to handle this. Not him, he's the naval invader. A good defender seems pretty good. Yeah. He loses rank, but we'll use him to command this. And then you are going to want someone who's good at mountaineering, if we have anyone like that. I don't think we do, actually. But actually, I think we could use one of our good guys. Yeah, like you. You're learning. How are you doing in terms of traits? Can I see that here? Yeah, he's got some pretty good hill fighter experience. And he'll get good at being in the mountains. And I will give him infantry expert for sure. So he's responsible for holding this area. The little attack on Hong Kong doesn't require a decent general. They might fortify it. So sure, have a fort buster. That'll do. Where'd my field marshal go? I swear I had a field marshal here a second ago. Anyway, you're responsible for that, and you are just all gonna get standardized coloring. Good. Now the Southern Resource Area strike will require some naval troops. Some troops actually, you know, launching glorious naval invasions. So I would like a commando. He should be learning invader as well. Yeah, he's whole 7% done. Wow. And entrenchment is not what I want on him. Infantry expert, I really struggle to see why infantry expert is ever a bad idea. So I'll give that to him. Now, who is going to join him? Let's get some more differentiation in my template design. You are the 24s. You need removing from existence, basically. You are unicorns. Unfortunately, they are some of the most experienced, but it's just not doable to have them like this because 24, I just don't like 24 width divisions. We've got a lot of equipment, apparently. We also are going to want to substantially increase the size of our marines up to 20 widths, and they're going to get artillery and recon companies as well. We have plenty of army experience. Yep, so we're going to do that, and we're going to want some more. Basically, however many I can have right now with my special forces limit. It's going to kill this guy's experience, but, you know, what you going to do? Well, I could change these to the 40s, but these guys need to be the 20 widths, basically. Yeah, so all of the unicorns, it's a shame, because these are some very experienced troops. But they've performed admirably, and they will remember some of the ways they performed. So you guys are all going to be 20s, which is going to lower their experience, but not cripplingly on many of them. That's very good. So 15 of you. And then what else? What have we got left? These guys must be the 40s. Yeah. So let's make the 40s and 20s look different. The 20s can be... sure, we'll do the normal pawns and castles. Or rooks, whatever you want to call them. The 20 with light tanks, I would like a few of these. But I suspect I don't have any light tanks. Yeah, but we'll work on trying to get some of those done. So what are we looking at here? Are you guys... You're the bad light tanks, right? Yeah. You two are going to be on, I suppose, actually under Burma. As the land-based... Yeah, sure, under the Hong Kong guy, which means you need a better general. You're the one I'd want to use for the actual invasion down here, maybe? As a secondary general? No, probably not. You can be responsible for this front. This is for the potential invasion of Indochina. And he'll be reinforced by some of the 20 widths, probably. Okay, so you guys are... No, sorry, wrong army. You guys. So we've got some 40 widths, we've got some cav. The cav... I mean, they're not useless. They're definitely not useless. What width are they? They are 12 widths. We will lower that to 10. Well, or shall I raise that? The thing about cavalry, of course, I mean, I almost never use them. But that's because I'm almost always fighting in Europe. Out here in Asia, fast-moving cavalry seems not the worst thing in the world. Do I lower their width? The motivation for not lowering their width is that we're not likely to have full combat width in many engagements around here. And it will hurt their experience levels. But none of them are actually above regular anyway, and we can train them back up to regular, so fine. The cavalry will lower width. And we'll give them the support they deserve. So they're not bad. Let's compare these to the 10 widths. You know, they've got... oh, hang on. Does the support equipment lower their speed? No, it doesn't. Why do they need 10? Why do you need 6? You guys can go faster than 6 speed, can't you? Huh. Anyway, they've got lots of organization. Can I open 2 things at once here? No, I have to actually have them in the field, which doesn't get full stats. But yeah, they're almost 50% faster. And they're... should be compared to being these. Yeah, their soft attack is... Oh, sorry, these are 10 widths. Right, so I haven't got a 10 width to compare them to. But their soft attack is not half the 20 widths. Not half. And they've got decent organization. Their HP is exactly half, but that makes sense. There's half as many of them. And yeah, that high speed and is going to make them good for tearing through areas like this, because the French are probably not going to garrison Vietnam. Almost certainly. So, it works out. We'll get 2 of them down here as well. Okay, I would like a different icon for you, actually. You're going to be fighting in the mountains. I don't think I have a standardized mountain icon, so I guess we'll go with star for mountain. Yeah, that seems okay. Now, it doesn't leave very many people for the South Pacific Strike, but we're going to be training more. And, what happened to... Oh, no, here they are. Okay, we do still have these 20 widths. Okay, I'll merge them in here. So we've got the 40s and the 20s all in here. And you're definitely not going to be commanding this if this is actually on the naval strike. So I think what we'll do is we'll take the very best of the 20s are going to be part of this. And this is the actual naval invasion. So you can have what we decided was our marine icon. So you're going to be launching strikes. Several strikes. From here to here. Just staying within the South China Sea, which is good. And each strike deserves a few of the very best troops. And then we'll probably add in some of the less good ones. And we'll try and time it so all of these land simultaneously. But I want to make completely sure that these are a success. These naval invasions. So we're going to land both sides of both ports here. Go overwhelming force, and we're going to have probably 20 divisions involved in this naval invasion. Maybe, I mean, hell, why not just go up to 24? So, do we make them... I think we make them 20 widths, because the supply situation down here, it's difficult for me to see what it'll be ahead of time, but, yeah, there's currently... They only support 15 and 18 supply. Can I see how much supply you guys use easily as an army? I don't know that I can, sadly. I could do maths. Okay, so we can support, yeah, about 20 widths. Okay, that's good. Okay, so I think we'll stay with 20 widths then for this invasion. And obviously we can mix in some 40 widths as necessary. So we'll give the best 4 40 widths. And that will be about right. We might be very slightly oversupply with these forces. Okay. And we'll send 120 width on each naval invasion. Of course, once we mix in the Marines, we might want to change how these are organized. And obviously, we can't actually give the order for them to be in the naval invasions until we've unlocked the better naval invasion technology. But that's fine. Need to come down here. Okay, that should be pretty good. You guys are the remaining 20s. I suppose just kind of loiter and get ready. Well, if we're only sending 20 down here, we could launch a simultaneous invasion of the Malaya region. It would be risky. It would involve less Marines. I say we do it. I say we do a an invasion, and it will have very bad supply. We'd have to strike. We'd have to be confident that we could strike south. I mean, I'm not confident we could take Singapore, because there's very good defensive stuff in this region, as well as the river itself holding Singapore. But if we could strike south and capture this level 5 base, then we'd be in pretty good shape. So U-10 are in fact going to be involved in a naval invasion of your very own. Give you that, infantry expert. You're going to be launching... Yeah, from where? Good question. Probably from up here. Timed to arrive later. Sorry, time to begin sooner so it arrives at the same time. Beginning that one first. Yeah, good. That's what we'll do. Simultaneous invasions of Malaya, of both halves of Malaya, Singapore and Borneo. I think it'll work. I think it'll work. And if France is involved, we'll switch it up so that this southern port gets hit by only one of these naval invasions, and one of these lands by Saigon, and rapidly captures that, to prevent any potential reinforcements, British troops moving out of Singapore into the French region. Okay, now we're just left with these... No, those guys have an order. Okay, I think that's everyone. Brilliant. Alright, I'll call that part there. In the next episode, we will get it unpaused and actually move towards launching our glorious strikes. I'll see you then. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.